turns it round, and he ramps him like straight over first slip. I mean, I've never seen a shot like it against a new ball. Hi everyone, I'm Mark Nicholas and this is Outside Edge, our look at the second day's play in the final test match over in Ahmedabad between India and England. Steve Harmison's here, we'll be chatting with Jeetan Patel, the England spin bowling coach, and hearing from Akash Chopra, our man over in India. But before that, remember, like and subscribe.
Oh yes, beauty from Stokes, he's done it! Got one to really bounce, and Kohli playing at it has nicked it through to Ben Folkes. Anderson, oh no, Rishabh Pant has just reverse paddled him. Incredible shot.
Well, it's annoying that India have ended up with such an advantage. I mean, if you get rid of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli and Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane all relatively cheaply, though Rohit played pretty well for his 49, you'd think you were going to have better of the day than they did in the end. More about Rishabh Pant in a moment, but immediately let's focus on that issue with Dom Bess and the England attack. When play was over, I had a chat to England's newly full-time appointed spin bowling coach, Jeetan Patel. He's a very interesting man.
I mean, you can't take away from what Jimmy and Stokesy did this morning in terms of the way they bowled with that new ball was superb, and then Leachy backed him up. And it just didn't work full Bessie's way. I mean, that decision right on tee against Rishabh Pant, it could have gone either way. I think everyone can understand that, but that's also cricket, and we've got to move on from that and look at other ways to take wickets. And as I said before, I mean, if a guy comes out and plays like that, sometimes you just got to sit back and applaud him for it.
But I am asking a wider question.
Yeah,
it's a very,
I understand the question you are
answer there. I'm asking a wider question, which is that if you go into a match with only 3 frontline bowlers or 2 frontline bowlers, Ben Stokes with a stomach problem and a knee problem ongoingly, and Dom Bess in uncertain form after a very difficult month during which time he was left out of the side, there is an element of risk. And I wondered if that put Dom under even more pressure and expectation, perhaps.
I mean, there is an element of risk, you're right. And that was also discussed prior to the game. But, I mean, ultimately, Bessie's picked in the side to bowl as well as he has done before. And I think the trust was there for him to go and do that. It didn't work out that way for him. And look, I'm not trying to beat around the bush with it. It just didn't work out. The reality is, you're right. With Jimmy Anderson as your number one seamer, Stokesy, who hasn't bowled as much as he probably would have liked throughout the series, have to take on that second seamer role and bowl 22 overs already. It's difficult. I think within that, there were opportunities for us, and they did create good opportunities initially. It just, as the day went on, it did wear us down, and that sun got hot, and as India does, that last session is difficult, and it's certainly tough for us.
Joe Root is in, and Pant with a slog sweep has hit it all the way for 6. What a way to bring up a third Test match 100. An absolutely stunning return.
Okay, well, I mean, Jeetan understandably will defend his man, and we're not out to criticise him either. Been, as I say, a difficult month for Dom Bess. England really got on the wrong end of Rishabh Pant. You used to get on the wrong end occasionally of Adam Gilchrist, and when you get a counter-attacker like that in the middle order, it's hard, isn't it?
It is hard, and not many times would you say you played against Adam Gilchrist when he came in a situation that Rishabh Pant found himself in. And I think we've seen the good and the great of Pant throughout this whole series. The absolute blistering freedom in the first Test match, and what's backed it up in this one was both. He batted beautifully, watchful, respectful towards Anderson and Stokes and the spinners, and then it just seemed as though he got to about 70 overs, and I think he had a mindset switch, which was right. When this new ball comes, I'm going to take advantage. New ball is there. Bowler thinks I can get wickets, but sometimes if the batsman's in, he thinks I can score. And boy, did he think he can score. Reverse sweep over. Jimmy Anderson will never, I don't think Jimmy Anderson, even Jimmy Anderson at 39 bowling 5 mile an hour less than what he was when he first started playing, he would never have believed he could get reverse swept.
No, by a guy, left-hander, right? He sets up like this, and he's waiting for Jimmy Anderson, England's best ever quick bowler, and he turns it round. and he ramps him like straight over first slip. I mean, I've never seen a shot like it against a new ball. Anderson come back with a new ball.
I'm not sure whose face was more surprised. Pants because he hit it. Roots standing at first slip thinking, that's going over my head. And Jimmy Anderson thinking, what has this world come to? From Jimmy Anderson making his debut in 2003, not only to still be bowling in 2021, but have somebody reverse sweeping him with a brand new ball. Game's
Absolutely
gone.
brilliant.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Okay, our man in India is Akash Chopra, the former Indian opening batsman. Let's hear Akash on Rishabh.
It's a very young career, Mark, and he's already seen quite a few shades of how people used to, or rather tend to respond. He was a favourite, a darling of everyone, the X-Factor player, somebody who could win matches on his own. He was flown to England for the World Cup 2019, by the way, as one of the replacement players with the hope that he is that guy that India is missing. And then he became a veritable pariah. Nobody wanted him. He was the only guy on that tour to New Zealand, I remember. In the entire white ball cricket leg, 5 T20s, 3 ODIs, he was the only guy in the squad who didn't play a single game, right? And now he's back to being one of the favourites, the guy who can actually win matches on his own. But just this time, I do feel that we are seeing a far more mature Rishabh Pant, who's unlikely to get carried away with what's been said and has been talked about him. And yes, once again, he's the rage again. He's the guy who's the future of Indian cricket and perhaps the present as well.
Always nice to hear that enthusiastic voice that belongs to Akash Chopra, and no doubt that India have got gold in Rishabh Pant. He's only a young guy, going to be around doing this to a lot of people for a long time because of a unique talent and a real desire to win. He's a tough competitor. Now, Akash also had some thoughts on our very own Jimmy Anderson.
There are different parameters as per to judge anybody's greatness or greatness per se. You'll find longevity is one of it, adaptability is another. Then you look at the impact, then you look at the numbers. You pick those 4 boxes and you'll tick every one of them for Jimmy Anderson. At 38, 39, what he's doing in the subcontinent, it tells you that he is greatest of all time.
So the words greatest of all time, Steve, does he mean greatest English bowler of all time, or does he think he might be the greatest fast bowler of all time? And what do you think?
I go for all time, greatest of all time. I think
the greatest fast bowler of all time.
I think he is. I really do. I'm biased because
that is. Wow.
I'm biased because I shared a dressing room with Jimmy, and I class Jimmy as somebody I played with and as a friend. But I'm not biased in my assessment of fast bowling. McGrath, Ambrose, Walsh, Eunice, Akram. I'm probably missing a couple, which I do apologise if I do, but I tell you what, I think Jimmy's skill level is ridiculous. And he showed in this test match. He bowled 5 overs in the start, he bowled 5 maidens. He bowled 5 overs this morning, I think he bowled 4 maidens. He bowled at Rohit Sharma, who, for me, batted beautifully. And he batted beautifully, but he batted 144 balls for 49 runs. He's in supreme touch. And he batted because Jimmy Anderson bowled a fantastic spell at Rohit Sharma this morning. I think Jimmy Anderson's longevity, skill level, and his ability to evolve between 2003 and through the 2020 age and through the white ball completely taking the game to a whole new level, that's why I grade Jimmy Anderson as the best ever. All the other bowlers that have played, the modern day greats and players that have played in the sort of 70s and 80s, 60s, 70s and 80s, didn't have the change of I think the game has changed so much in the last 15, 20 years. And that's why, just tips the balance for me, Jimmy Anderson is the greatest of all time.
They now lead by 89, and Washington Sundar is still there with Akshar Patel, so 3 wickets for England to take tomorrow morning before they can even start making inroads into that big Indian lead. It is not looking good in this test match for England, I'm afraid to say. Steve, thank you very much. Always good to chat and hear your insights and your deep emotion and love of the game. A reminder that this is Outside Edge. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, with our look at the third day. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Bye-bye.